This is Joe from He Said, She Said, and I want you to know it's okay to tell your entire story. When you are speaking to someone, when God is leading you to speak to someone and tell them, reveal to them your story, do not, and I repeat, do not leave not one stone unturned. It took a while for me to get comfortable enough to tell people what I was. I was just a horrible person. I was out here sleeping around and partying, and everything was all merry. That was the story that I was telling people. But in telling people and letting them know over and over and over again, I started seeing that, you know what, this story or my story can actually show people that there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of hope for change. Change is something that has to start within yourself. You have to first recognize that what you're doing is not right. And then it takes a process for you to change yourself. Allow change to take effect within you. And in doing so, sometimes I can delve deep into stories or deep into particular details. And people, someone has asked me recently, like, why do you go so deep into the story? Or I understand that you have to tell people this, but wow, like that's a lot of information. I never want someone to come to me and try to tell my story better than I can tell my own. I never want them to even tell an inaccurate part of my story because my story is a part of me. I was who I was, but I'm not who I was. That person doesn't exist. So it's a detachment when I'm telling the story. It's not like, oh, it is a part of me, but it's a dead part of me. This was before I came back in developing my relationship with Christ on an active basis. This is me in a lost place. This is me trying to find myself. I found myself now. And in doing that, I have the obligation to share my story. Because the very person that is standing in front of me, the very person that's standing to my left or my right or behind me, may need the solution that I have inside myself. And how selfish would it be of me to keep it inside of myself? When you get to the point when you realize that telling your story is your own therapy, telling your story is helping the person next to you, you'll be able to tell it and be able to tell it without feeling as though you need to restrict part of your story. That in of itself is a process. That in of itself takes a level of patience. But I'm here to encourage you. You can do it. You will do it eventually one day. It just takes time. It takes level of comfort. It takes knowing that your story is not who you are now, it's who you were. You're not the same person. You've been forgiven for what you've done. You've made a turn, which is what repentance is. It's a turn of your heart. It's a turn of your actions. It's a turn of your routines. It's a turn of your habits. Everything of that nature has shifted. It's gone in a different direction. So why not tell your story? Why not share your story with the people around you? They're waiting for you. I'm waiting for you too. And it's a level of patience that we must have for you to get comfortable telling your entire story and not leave one detail out. I'm rooting for you. And I hope that you understand that this walk, this narrow road that we're trying to continue to travel on a daily basis is difficult. But it's even more difficult when we try to do it ourselves. What's your community doing? Are they encouraging you to continue to walk this path and walk in truth? Or are they making you comfortable living a lie?